With magnificent affinity, white sharpness, and a very useful level 2 decoration slot, the Nargacuga Greatsword has been the best greatsword since the launch of Monster Hunter Rise. Now that we have version 3.0 available, we are able to make some minor tweaks to the build to increase its efficiency and get a tiny bit more defense. That said, we continue to have great attack, we continue to have 100% affinity, and, most of all, we continue to have maximum performance from this greatsword that has been with us since version 1.0. It's still Nargacuga, and it's still the king. Before we continue with the build, there are two things that you need to take into consideration when looking at this set. First, this build is a baseline build. This means that it can change and evolve as we receive more content and continue to explore the game. Second, please remember that this game is heavily focused around the talismans that we are able to get through RNG rolling. As such, the better the talisman, the better the build. Unfortunately, we cannot control which talismans we get, so I will be making this build with the absolute minimum requirement possible. No God Talismans, no lucky rolls, just the minimum. Let's get started. The equipment we will be running is a fully mixed set, taking parts from different monsters. To start, our weapon will be the Nargacuga Greatsword, also known as the Dark of Night, and for armor, we will be using the high-rank versions of the Teostra Helm, the Anjanath Chest, the Valstrax Gloves, the Anjanath Waist, and the Hunter's Greaves. The talisman we are using is a Final Tempest talisman that gives us 1 point in Weakness Exploit with a level 2 decoration slot. This is the most important piece of the build. The talisman you see here is the minimum requirement to run the basic greatsword builds that we have access to at this moment. Better talismans will improve your build, but this is the least you need to have to be able to take full advantage of the tools we currently have access to in the game. As mentioned before, we will be using the Nargacuga Greatsword. Having proven to be the best throughout the whole lifespan of the game so far, it is the most reliable and consistent weapon to get a high damage build. The Dark of Night has a raw attack power of 180 that becomes 188 when using the Attack Boost 3 in its Rampage slot. The Greatsword also has 20 hits of natural white sharpness and the incredible base affinity of 35%. Both the sharpness and the affinity are key to keep our damage consistency up. Finally, it gives us one level 2 decoration slot, the most useful kind in the game. The decorations that we use in this set are the ones that follow. On the Greatsword, 1 attack jewel. On the helm, 1 grinder jewel. On the chest, 2 grinder jewels. On the gloves, 1 attack jewel. On the waist, 1 attack jewel and 2 steadfast jewels. On the legs, 1 critical jewel. On the talisman, 1 critical jewel. Combining this armor and decorations, we will be hunting with the following skills: Attack Boost 7, Critical Eye 3, Critical Boost 3, Weakness Exploit 3, Stun Resistance 3, Speed Sharpening 3, Focus 2, Marathon Runner 1, Dragon Heart 1. This skill list compiles a good combination of offensive and support skills. Critical Eye and Weakness Exploit combine with the Greatsword's natural affinity to provide us with 100% affinity, and Attack Boost with Critical Boost guarantee that our damage will always be the highest that it can. Stun Resistance is one of the best skills that we can have with level 1 decorations, and Speed Sharpening will counteract the Greatsword's low sharpness. It is time we now speak about Focus. Generally speaking, I always prefer to hunt with Focus 3. That said, Focus 2 is enough to hunt comfortably. There are good arguments for both sides to explain which is better, but I will let you decide that for yourself. If you want to hunt with Focus 3, drop one of the attack jewels and substitute it for a charger jewel. Finally, Marathon Runner and Dragonheart are leftover skills that are byproducts of our armor. They are not needed, but they are nice to have. This build provides high damage, but its greatest strength is definitely consistency. This build reaches 100% affinity when hitting a monster's weak spot. There is no chance for you to miss the critical hit as long as you concentrate on always hitting weak spots. As a result, we can always expect to get the maximum damage that this build can offer. This is one of the best greatsword builds that we have access to in version 3.0 of Rise, if not the best. But there is definitely something to keep in mind. This build has peaked. This means that even if we wanted to, there is very little that we can do to increase its damage any further. We already have maximum attack and maximum affinity. Since it does not need any God Talismans, this build is something that most hunters will be able to make almost immediately, and it does not require a lot of RNG farming. It is a build made to take on any monster, solo or in a group, by providing the most consistent way to deal high amounts of damage. It will not let you down. I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your time, and I hope that I get to see you on the next one.